I've been switching back and forth from the Galaxy Z Fold series since it launched, but this year with the Galaxy Z Fold 7, I think I'll be switching for good. And here's why. We'll also be comparing it to the Fold 6 as well as some of the competition, so stay tuned for that. Now, getting the unboxing out of the way, it's pretty straightforward. We have the device. There is a pack at the top of the box, inside which we have a SIM card tool, some paperwork, as well as a USB Type-C cable. Of course, there is no charger included out of the box. And then to remove the covers, which is so much more satisfying when it's a foldable device. And here it is, the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 7. And what a beauty it is. You can probably see from my reaction that this is the most excited I've been for a fold device since the Z Fold 1. And that's because the dream from day one with foldables has been to have a regular smartphone that folds out into a tablet. And although that has been the aim from the Fold 1, I think from the Fold 1 to the Fold 6, there have been lots of compromises, but with the Fold 7, I think we're finally there. And yes, I know there's a lot of competition who had already reached there, but this time Samsung, the innovator of foldable smartphones, has got to this point. So why am I so excited? Well, you just have to look at how thin this device is. When it's unfolded, it's around 4.2 millimeters, and when it's folded, it's 8.9 millimeters. That's around 26% thinner compared to the Fold 6, and only ever so slightly thicker compared to the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra, which is a regular smartphone. Now, if we bring in the Fold 6 here for a side-by-side comparison, you can see just how much thinner the Fold 7 is, and it's also around 24 grams lighter. What's even more impressive is that it's even lighter compared to the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra. Honestly, that is insane just how thin this is. Now, I do have to highlight the fact that other manufacturers are also very thin and even slightly thinner compared to the Fold 7, like the Honor Magic V5 that we have here. But honestly, in terms of thinness, I don't think you can go wrong with either of these. If you would like me to do a detailed SuperSaf style comparison between the Fold 7 and the Honor Magic V5, then definitely let me know in the comments below. The Fold 7 also maintains the IP48 water and dust resistant rating, which means it's waterproof, but it's not completely dust proof. It can only withstand dust that's above 1 millimeter. This is kind of understandable because of its folding nature. And it officially comes in 3 colors. This blue shadow, which is really growing on me, a jet black, which would personally be my pick, as well as a silver shadow. There is also a bonus mint color that's available exclusively from Samsung.com.
Hey!
Whoa, whoa. Oh, do you want to remind them of the pre-order deals? Oh yeah, SuperSaf just reminded me that I have hooked you guys up with some exclusive discount codes if you're thinking of picking up the Z Fold 7 or even the Z Flip 7. You'll get double the storage, so the 512 gigabyte version for the price of the 256. If you're in the US, you can get up to $350 of instant Samsung credit. And for the first time, if you are in the UK and you use my affiliate link down in the description below with my code, then you can get £50 off. This is not going to be available anywhere else, so you definitely want to take advantage of it. And Samsung have just also told me that they've got a new buy and try scheme where customers can try a new Fold 7 or Flip 7 for 100 days commitment free, then keep it or return it for a refund. That is absolutely insane. This is region specific. I'm going to leave all of the affiliate links as well as all of those details down in the description below. Now, back to the phone. One of the things that people keep talking to me about is the crease. Now, we do have 50% thicker ultra thin glass. Anyway. And that is supposed to reduce the crease. Now, if I'm looking at this head on, I do think the crease has reduced. Yes, you can still see it. My argument has always been with the crease is that when you are viewing a foldable device head on, you are really not going to notice the crease. You're only going to notice it if you look at it from an angle, so that's not such a big deal for me, but the crease has definitely been reduced. We also have a grade 4 titanium lattice, so this should make it more durable, even though it's super thin. And we have Gorilla Glass Ceramic 2 on the cover, which is more durable. This is the same as what we've got on the S25 Edge. Now let's talk about this cover display, because one of my biggest complaints with the Fold series has been that the cover display, although it's okay for quick glances, it's just not usable, and it's definitely a compromise. It doesn't feel like you're using a regular smartphone. It feels like you're using something very narrow. But Samsung have been listening to me specifically and watching my videos, because we now have what I think is the most usable cover display that Samsung has ever included in a Fold device. The cover display is now 6.5 inches and it has a very usable 21:9 aspect ratio. And I've been typing on this and it's been absolutely fine. On the Fold 6 and previous Fold devices, I would keep making mistakes. And yes, you can use swipe to type, but when you're putting in passwords and things, it's super annoying. This, I can tell you, is not going to be an issue on the Z Fold 7 because it's around 5mm wider. Samsung has been making their cover displays on foldables slightly wider each year, but this is the biggest jump that we've had. So once again, it goes back to the dream. I'm using this as a regular smartphone for my day-to-day. But then what about when you want to multitask? What about when you want to watch videos? You want to game, you want to be more productive? Then you do this. Nice. So cool. We now have a beautiful 8-inch display, which is 11% larger compared to the Fold 6. To be fair, I didn't really have many complaints with the Fold 6 inner display, but this has now been improved. Now, both displays are 120 Hz and they both have a peak brightness of 2600 nits, so they're amazing displays. But now both of these displays are completely usable. Now, another area where I felt that the Fold series compromised was with the cameras. The Fold series has always been more expensive compared to the Ultra series, but the cameras have always been quite a bit inferior compared to the flagship. With the Z Fold 7 now, we have some big camera improvements. So we have a 12-megapixel ultra-wide camera, which now has autofocus, and that means for the first time on a foldable, you will be able to get macro shots. It's also a larger size sensor, so you can get 56% brighter images on the Fold 7 with the ultra-wide camera compared to the Fold 6. But most importantly, we now have the same 200 megapixel primary camera sensor as we do on the S25 Ultra. Now granted, there is a different lens just to make it compact here for the Z Fold 7, but it is still the same sensor and it's the same one that we've got on the S25 Edge as well. So this is going to give you up to 4 times more detail as well as up to 44% brighter images. Now the telephoto camera hasn't changed. It's still 10 megapixels with 3 times optical zoom. I would have, of course, liked a periscope zoom camera like we have on the S25 Ultra, but considering how thin this is, getting a periscope zoom camera in here would be very difficult. I think Samsung are probably saving that for a future edition, but I'm going to let them off because I've been super happy so far. The selfie cameras have also been improved. We've got a 10 megapixel selfie camera here on the cover, which is now wider. But more importantly, the inner display camera is now a regular camera, which is much better than the 4 megapixel under display camera that we've had on previous generations. Now, from what I've seen online, this is either one way or another. Some people hate the fact that Samsung have put in a punch out here instead of that under display camera. For me, that under display camera, granted it was supposed to be just for video calls, and you can use the refacing cameras as selfie cameras on the Z Fold series, but it was just so bad. So for me, having this small punch out, which is out of the way, is not a problem at all. It might be for you. Let me know down in the comments. But it does mean that it's around 17.6% wider and it's also 2.5 times clearer. We also have some improvements for video. So the Fold 7 can record in log. So that is the flat picture profile. If you're a pro videographer, this is something that you're really going to enjoy. And the Fold 7 can also record in 10-bit HDR video. In my testing, 10-bit HDR video on Samsung devices is very good. Now, one area where Samsung don't compromise on, even on previous Fold devices, is with performance, and they haven't done so here on the Z Fold 7 either. We do have the top of the line Snapdragon 8 Elite for Galaxy. This is the flagship chipset for 2025, and it's going to match the performance of all of the big dogs. And compared to last year on the Fold 6, you have a 41% faster NPU, a 38% faster CPU, as well as a 26% faster GPU. Now, in my experience, the Fold 6 performance was absolutely top-notch. It still is. This just means that the 8 Elite is better, and it's going to be great for things like multitasking, and it's also going to be better long term. Now, like the Fold 6, the Fold 7 has 12 gigabytes of RAM, but if you get the 1 terabyte storage version, then you will get 16 gigabytes of RAM, even better for multitasking. Now, another area where Samsung is ahead of the game is when it comes to software. So the Z Fold 7 does come with Android 16 with One UI 8 out of the box, and Samsung has promised 7 generations of OS updates and 7 years of security updates, which means with that 8 Elite, this should be lasting you a long time. Samsung, having made foldables for the longest time compared to the competition, is also great when it comes to multitasking on software. And we also have Galaxy AI, which in my opinion is the most complete AI package on any smartphone. So we have all of the AI features on Samsung devices that you're used to, such as Call Assist, Writing Assist, Interpreter, Note Assist, Transcript Assist, Browsing Assist, Photo Assist, Drawing Assist, Audio Eraser, Photo Ambient Wallpaper. There's also Now Brief as well as Health Assist. However, being a foldable device, Samsung has optimized that larger screen. So you've got Gemini, which will take advantage of that larger screen, but you've also got things like drag and drop, so you can drag and drop AI results between windows. And my favorite is side-by-side editing. When you are editing an image, you can pull up the images side by side and really compare them. This is similar to what you can do on professional apps on desktop like Lightroom. Now, you've heard a lot of praises about the Fold 7, but it's not perfect. One area where I would have liked to have seen an improvement is with the battery. So the Fold 7 has the same size battery as the Fold 6, so it's 4,400 milliamps. Now, although this should be okay for your day-to-day, especially considering the fact that we now have a much more usable cover display, which means you won't need to open this up as often as you would have to open up the Fold 6. The competition is offering much larger batteries in relatively the same form factor, like the Honor Magic V5, which has a massive 5,820 milliamp hour battery. How have they managed to do this? Well, Honor is using silicon carbon technology, which means you can get larger battery capacities in the same size. This is something that Samsung has opted not to do yet. Now, granted, I understand that Samsung has to ship out many more units and silicon carbon technology is still relatively new, but this is something that I would have liked to have seen on the Fold 7. I'll let you know what my battery usage is like over the next few weeks. Charging hasn't changed either. So we've got 25 watts of wired charging, 15 watts of wireless charging. Wireless power share is also supported here on the Fold 7, which is something that I don't really use. Now, there's one thing that may be a complete deal breaker for you with the Fold 7, or you might just not care about it at all. And that is the fact that there is no longer S Pen support on the Fold 7 like we've had on previous Fold devices. Now, this seems to be because of just how slim this is. Samsung couldn't get a digitizer in this slim form factor, but it's something that I would have liked, and I think Samsung is saving this for maybe the Fold 8 or the Fold 9. But yes, if an S Pen is important to you on a Fold device, then that's something that you don't have here on the Fold 7. But if you can get past those two things, then I think this is an amazing foldable smartphone, especially because of the price. Now, hear me out. So the Fold 7 starts at the same price as the Fold 6 did last year in the UK. That's for the 256 and the 512GB versions. It has gone slightly up for the 1TB version. And in the US, it has gone up by around $100. Now with the US, because of all the tariff situation and stuff, I kind of don't blame Samsung for it. However, having said all of that, remember the pre-order deals that you're going to get with the affiliate links down in the description below. For a limited time, you will get 512GB for the price of the 256. But as well as that, in the US, you can get up to $1,000 if you trade in the Fold 6 and different amounts for different devices, or $350 of instant Samsung credit. And here in the UK, for the first time after I've been bugging Samsung UK for years, we do have an exclusive £50 off using my affiliate link and code down in the description below. And on top of that, Samsung is also running the buy and try scheme where you can try the Fold 7 or Flip 7 for 100 days commitment free and then keep it or return it. So if you are on the fence, you've never tried a foldable before, you really want to see if it's going to be something that can match your lifestyle and your usage, then you've really got nothing to lose. And for all of those reasons, I think this is an amazing option to go for right now. And it is the reason why I'll be switching. That's what I think anyway. What do you guys think? Drop me a comment below. Let me know your thoughts. I will be covering this in more detail and doing a full review, SuperSaf style. If you want to see that first, then be sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. If you did, then do smash that like button for me. Thanks for watching. This is Saf on SuperSaf TV, and I'll see you next time.